Protesters both for and against President Yoon's impeachment have been rallying near the Constitutional Court in downtown Seoul for weeks. Let's turn now to our reporter Song Yoo-jin, who's been on the ground since early afternoon. Yoo-jin, what is the atmosphere like there right now?
Right, Jung-min. So as I mentioned in our previous newscast, the atmosphere right outside the Constitutional Court is relatively subdued when compared to the intense demonstrations that took place right here in recent weeks. And that's because authorities have implemented tight security measures ahead of tomorrow's ruling. So to elaborate a bit more, this area within a 150-meter radius of the Constitutional Court has been designated as a so-called vacuum zone, a controlled lockdown zone for vehicles except police vehicles, with only pedestrians allowed within to minimize any disruption and threats to the court. However, I've been talking to some police officers over the past few hours, and access to this 150-meter stretch leading directly to the court's main gate, as you're seeing on the screen right now, is limited to court staff and only the press. And over the hours, we've also been seeing an increased police presence with more vehicles arriving and barricades being set up around the perimeter. But I want to mention that outside this restricted zone, the atmosphere is very different, because near Anguk Station, thousands of pro- and anti-impeachment demonstrators are continuing to gather in larger numbers. And it's known that both sides will keep their demonstrations going throughout the evening, not only here near Anguk Station, but in other parts of Seoul, for example, in the neighboring Gwanghwamun Gate, as well as a presidential compound in Yongsan-gu District, Hannam-dong.
The demonstrations surely seem to be getting tense. And what can you tell us about how authorities are responding?
So public safety has been top of the agenda ever since the Constitutional Court announced that it will deliver its verdict, its ruling tomorrow. Just a reminder that back in 2017, when the court decided to uphold the impeachment motion against former President Park Geun-hye, 4 demonstrators were died during fierce clashes that erupted following the ruling of the court. So in response, from this morning, the police has issued its second highest emergency alert level, the Eulho level, among its 3-tier emergency response system, and this allows for half of the available national police forces to be mobilized. And in just a few hours, starting at midnight, that alert will be raised to the highest level Kapo, which enables full nationwide police mobilization.
We expect a large turnout on the day of the ruling, and we'll do everything we can to manage the crowds and maintain public order. We'll take a zero-tolerance approach to any serious illegal acts, such as violence or destruction of property. We're also closely monitoring threats made online, and will respond swiftly to any signs of potential terrorism or intimidation.
So I want to talk a bit more about tomorrow. Tomorrow, around 14,000 riot police will be on duty across Seoul. Now, for your information, the Anguk Station, subway line 3, which closed a few hours ago, will remain shut. But it's not just a subway station. Schools, businesses, banks, and museums nearby will either shut down or switch to remote work for day. Now, with an estimated 100,000 demonstrators set to take to the streets of Seoul, the nation is on high alert, hoping to avoid any bloodshed in the big day tomorrow. That's all I have for now. Back to you, Jung-min.
That was our Song Yoo-jin live outside the Constitutional Court. Thank you, Yoo-jin.